We've mentioned Don a few times and his vocals and stuff. I've got to ask you the question because it's something that a lot of people talk about, and Don has to address it himself as well. A lot of criticism comes his way because he doesn't sound how he did in his 20s. I mean, he's faced a lot of criticism. He answers back. I mean, what's your say on the way that Don sings now?
I always would, any time this subject came up, I said, Don, you're however old, at the time we did this record, I'm like, you're 68. I mean, it's not fair for anyone to expect you to be singing like you did when you're 20. Yep. And even if you could, really, are you going to start like doing high screams at 68 years old? That's not who you are at this point. Just be you, And I think that this is a wonderful depiction of, music is emoting, right? Is portraying an emotion, right? You don't have to scream at the top of your lungs in order to do that. I mean, if you look back to the old Dokken stuff, is it really him screaming at the top of his lungs that transferred the emotion mainly, or is it the quality of his voice and how he delivered the lines and the lyrical content? You know what I'm saying? There's so many bands where the singer screams his head off, but the songs stink. I mean, does it matter? So whenever I hear someone saying, "Oh, well, he can't sing the high notes," does it really matter? Let me ask you. Let me give you an analogy. Certain artists paint with a ton of colors, and they may be able to make a beautiful painting out of that, right? But then there's other artists that can paint with a pencil, draw with a pencil, and it's just the most beautiful thing you've ever seen, right? So it's not necessarily how many colors you have in your box of crayons, right? It's what you do with it. And I think just from a melody and lyrical perspective on this record, I think this is some of the best stuff he's ever done. I mean, if you listen to the ballad, Never Give Up, I said to him, Don, I think this is one of your best vocal performances ever. It just carries so much emotion in it.
Yeah, high praise indeed. Now, obviously, you've known him for you've known him for a long time. I mean, how does he take that criticism? Because I think a few years ago it sounded he was a bit spiky about it, but I think he's a bit more laid back about it now.
Whenever it would come up, I would this is the discussion we would have is just what I just would say to you. I'm like, anyone who says that, it's ridiculous. That has nothing to do with how much emotion you transfer in a musical composition, how high you sing. And so for a guitar player, are you transferring more emotion by how fast you play? Some guys can play one note and it's just like, wow, right? Play one note and play one note great. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with playing fast. Obviously I do it too, but when and how you do it, right? It's just it all is about what is being carried forward in the music, the emotion of it, That's how I feel about it.